So we have seen the problem of overfitting in case of decision trees, and we have also seen that we can prevent overfitting in decision trees by using the min bucket parameter. So smaller the value of min bucket, more is the overfitting, and larger the value of min bucket, the simpler model you get. So both sides is not good for us. We try to be somewhere in the middle. So if I have to draw the train data accuracy, the train data accuracy will be, if this is your accuracy, for a small value of min bucket, your accuracy will be high in case of training data, and as your min bucket increases, the accuracy will fall down. This is for the training data, and for the test data, it will, for a small value of min bucket, the model has overfit and the accuracy will be low. It will increase and then it will start falling again. This is how it will look like for the test data. This is where overfitting happens for small values of min bucket, and for large values of min bucket we have underfitting. So now this brings us to the question, how do we identify this sweet spot? So we have talked about the sweet spot a lot, that this is the place where we should select the value of min bucket and we should take that min bucket into our model. So how do we identify that value of min bucket? An intuitive answer to that is, we have our training data and we have our test data. So we can build our model on the training data and we can have different values of min bucket. Let's say we have our min bucket starting from 5, 10, 15, 20. We can go on in increments of 5 or any other increments depending on the data, and let's say we can go up to 50, and then we can check which of these min bucket values is giving the best accuracy on the test data. So we can check, so we can start a loop. So this is where a loop will start, and within the loop we can train our model on the training data and then test its accuracy on the test data for each of these values of min bucket. So we will take the min bucket values as a variable I and we will keep varying the value of I. So first I will be 5, we will build our model and then see its accuracy on the test data. Then we will change the value of I to 10, again build our model on training data and check its accuracy on the test data, and so on till 50. And then finally we will select the model which gives the best accuracy on the test data. So let's say 20, a value of 20 for min bucket gives the best value of accuracy on the test data. So we can finalize the value of 20 for min bucket. So this is the intuitive answer that we get, but this is wrong. Now why do I say this is wrong? This is wrong because we have looked at our test data and then changed the value of min bucket, which is not allowed. Remember, we have always talked about the test data being the final data set and we are never allowed to look at the test data. This is like the final exam and you don't know what questions will be asked in the exam. Now when you build your model on trained data and see how is it performing on the test data and come back and change the value of a parameter, in this case min bucket, this is like indirectly using the test data also to build the model, and hence this is not allowed. A model should ideally be totally isolated from the test data. It should not decide any of its parameter. A model should not decide any of its parameter by looking at the test data. It should entirely focus on the trained data and then decide the parameters that it has. So in this case we have used the test data to decide the best parameter for min bucket, and hence this is not allowed. So we will not be using this process. Now this brings us to another process. Now to avoid this, what we can do is we can divide our data set into 3 parts. So we can divide our data set into train, and we can have another part called validation, and then finally the test data. And now what we can do, we can repeat the same process. We can have a variable I for min bucket and we can keep varying it from, let's say, 5 to 50. And we can check its accuracy, its performance on the validation data. So each time for every value of I, we will train the model on the training data and then check its accuracy on the validation data. And then we will finalize the model. So let's say we get a value of 20. So for min bucket 20, we get the best accuracy on the validation data. So after this, we can finally build a model with the min bucket of 20 and then finally predict on the test data. So in this case we are good because we did not use the test data to change our values of min bucket. We used the validation data, which is another data set that we created from our training data. So this is allowed. This is not wrong and we can proceed with this. But there is a problem with this approach also, and we will talk about that in a following video. So what did we learn from this video? We learned from this video that we can vary the value of min bucket and avoid overfitting in decision trees. But how do we select the best value of min bucket? How do we identify this sweet spot? Now to identify that sweet spot, we can either create the train test split. We can look at the test data and then see which value of min bucket is performing best on the test data, and we can finalize that value of min bucket. But this is wrong because indirectly we have seen the test data and we are not allowed to see the test data. So another approach to avoid this is we can divide the data into 3 parts: train, validation and test, and build a model on the training data for different values of min bucket and see how is it performing on the validation data. Now for whichever value of min bucket we get the best accuracy on validation data, we finalize that value of min bucket, and using that particular value of min bucket we finally make a prediction on the test data. So this is how we can avoid overfitting in case of decision trees using min bucket as the parameter.